Hello, everybody. I'm Deacon Tim Sullivan, and this is another in one of our series of what we're calling Greenhorns in Black. And today we have a real, not even a rookie officially yet. He's a transitional deacon, which means he's a deacon in transition to becoming a priest, and he's going to be ordained this June 26th. And so it's Deacon Jon Fincher. So thank you, Deacon Jon, for being with us today.
And thanks for having me, Deacon Tim.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts leading up to your ordination? Are you relaxed, nervous?
I am relaxed. Right now, I'm still trying to finish my school for the semester. So got 2 more exams to go. And then I'm going on a retreat right after that. So I'm getting excited. Yeah, I was just at an ordination this weekend in Texas, and it made me more excited for my own to see one of my brothers ordained. So
Right.
getting excited.
Do you know where you're going to be assigned after your ordination?
Yeah, so I will be at St. Pius X for 2 months, and then back to Rome to continue my licentiate in moral theology. So I'll be covering for Father Sean while he's doing some language immersion.
I see. All right. Well, good. Well, tell the people a bit about your background, where you grew up, a little bit about your family life, any significant events that you want to share in your early life.
So yeah, I grew up in Tulsa, of course, been there my whole life, and I have a twin brother, which a lot of people don't know. And we grew up at St. Pius. So I'm going back to my home parish as a priest, which is going to be interesting and probably fun. But so I grew up there. We went there for 11 years. My mom worked there. My dad practiced law in Tulsa, and then he also always did church music. So he started out pious and then started working at Benedict's once we got a little older. So my parents were always influential in bringing us to church and that kind of stuff. And then we both went to Bishop Kelly. We graduated in 2011, and then from there I went on to Benedictine College, where I stayed for a couple of years, and then felt called to the priesthood, and eventually went to seminary. So
I see. Did anything in particular influence you to become a priest?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always say I never wanted to be a priest. It was never on my mind. But when I went to college, I started going to daily mass, and I started going to confession more often. And I really learned how to pray to whatever extent you learn how to pray. But I just went every day, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I just felt this prompting. And I think it was October 22nd, 2011. That was like just this moment where I knew I was on retreat in Wisconsin with some people from the college. And I just knew for the first time in adoration that Jesus Christ was this real person that wanted to be in my life. And so kind of from there, little moments along the way, but from there I just had this like new sense that I was called to something. And then eventually, I think there comes a point in our lives when we might have everything we could have thought we wanted, friends and good grades and being involved in this, that, and the other. But there was still kind of this emptiness for me as I kept pushing away the priesthood. And so kind of after 2 years of that, I decided I was wasting a lot of money and I wasn't really happy. So that's when I just decided to go to seminary, and the diocese accepted me somehow. So.
Well, I'm sure they're glad they did. Now, I know you spent some time with the Missionaries of Charity, which is Mother Teresa's group
Mm-hmm.
that she founded. So tell the people something about that.
Yeah, so I first met the Missionaries of Charity in, I guess it was the summer of 2017. I go to seminary in Rome now. And that first summer when we go, we've been there, a full year. And then that summer, we don't come home, but we do some sort of apostolic work. And so that summer I went to Calcutta, India, and I worked with the Missionaries of Charity there, the sisters and the brothers and the priests. And my main task was just, we were working at Mother Teresa's Home for the Dying, going there every day. And we also worked at one of the orphanages. But it was just a beautiful experience. I think I like to say, like, I don't think I fully understood. I still don't fully understand Christianity, but I didn't understand it as much as I did afterwards. Just this like understanding of my nothingness, and that only by becoming nothing and becoming empty and letting God fill that can you do anything. So it was a beautiful experience, just working with the men who were dying, kind of bathing them and feeding them, and it's amazing what they can teach you, and you don't even speak their language. And then the sisters, just their holiness and just their absolute poverty. It's super inspiring. And then from there, when I went back to Rome, I kind of had this newfound love for the poor, and so I got involved with the missionaries in Rome as well, helping out there. They have a little soup kitchen near the Vatican, so going there every week, and I don't know, it's just they're very simple, and every time I go, they just teach me something, just one little way to love Jesus better. So that's kind of why I keep going back. It's for the poor too. They teach me how to love Jesus, but so do the sisters.
Right. So you are able to serve, but it's also a learning experience for you, a
Mhm.
deepening experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think we like to think that we can give so much to the poor, but we really don't have that much to offer them. And I think they tend to offer us more and teach us how to live the gospel and how to love Jesus even more so. So there's
Well,
something
thanks
about
for
that keeps drawing you back.
right. Well, thank you for sharing that experience. What would you say you enjoyed the most about being a seminarian?
Oh, I think the best part is living with just really excellent men, just developing those friendships and just that fraternity. So that's probably what well, I'm going back to school next year, so I'll kind of have that still. But just when I do leave, just the ability to walk down the hall and just there's like 7 dudes and you can just talk about whatever's going on. I think I'll miss that once that's over.
So you have a lot in common with them. You have mutual
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
It's really a great experience.
Hmm.
Is there anything in particular that you would like to accomplish in your life as a priest? Something you'd like to focus on?
Um, I don't know. A few things I think about sometimes is really working with families. I've gotten to do that in my time as a seminarian. In Rome, I was assigned to the U.S. Air Force Base in Aviano, Italy. So we were going up there once a month and always working with the families and with the kids, teaching the parents about different things. So that's one aspect. And then another thing, and I don't know how to do this, but just helping people understand that Christianity is a way of life.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we have this disconnect, and even I can do it, where we like put our Catholic faith into this box, but it's not kind of integrated into everything we do. So trying to figure out how do we help others and ourselves just integrate that into our daily life.
Yeah,
That's
there's
something I think
a
about.
lot being said these days about the culture of the Catholic Church and of being Catholic. That in so many Catholic people's minds, what they do is we go to mass. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. We go to mass.
Yeah,
But bringing Christ into every aspect of your life,
yeah.
that's supposed to be part of our job description.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, however I can help people get up every single day and say yes to Christ, because it's that you just got to get up every day and do it again. You know.
Right. Is there anything, well, let me put it this way. What are you most looking forward to in being a priest?
Oh, I think as of right now, celebrating the sacraments. Um, I've been practicing the mass and practicing confessions and practicing anointing of the sick and not actually doing it. So it'll be cool once I can do that, and
Right.
Christ will actually work through that. So that's what I'm looking forward to most.
Do you have a favorite saint?
Yeah, so I have a couple, but my my one of my favorites is Pier Giorgio Frassati, and I know some of the other priests like him too. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati. But I encountered him when I was in college, and he was inspiring to me, and still is, just because he's a normal human being who just loves Jesus and loved others. Like very rich background, but just gave everything he had for the poor, and everything he did was to lead his friends closer to Christ. He loved climbing mountains and doing things in the outdoors. So he's always been kind of an inspiration for me. And then for me too, also Blessed Stanley Rother has been a big influence. Just his love for the poor and his willingness to lay down his life for the people he served. It's kind of an inspiration for my priesthood.
Right. Very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Very inspiring man. How about hobbies and interests, things you like to do when you're not
Mm-hmm.
fulfilling your duties as a seminarian or as a priest? I know I've seen you on a bicycle, so I know
Yeah,
biking is something you like to do.
that is my main hobby. Just riding around town and riding up to wherever. And then my second kind of hobby is drinking coffee and you know going to different coffee shops, testing out different beans. Yeah, so that's kind of my secondary hobby.
Well, I know you're staying in the rectory at St. Bernard's this summer,
Yeah,
and with Father Shane, who's a tea fanatic. So you've got
yeah,
the battle between
yeah,
the tea fanatic and the coffee fanatic.
yeah. And
So
me and
who's
Matthew,
winning?
seminarian, we're always drinking coffee. Monsignor's drinking his decaf, so we're all kind of all over the place.
Right. Well, with the biking, what's the longest distance you've gone at any one time?
I think it was 81 or 2 miles in a day. When I was younger, I used to ride Oklahoma Freewheel every year. So we
Right.
start, at the top of Texas, ride across the different towns, and end up in Kansas by the end of the week. So I haven't done that in a while, but that was kind of my intro into biking when I first started back in
Right.
middle school. In high school, we'd do that. So
So you're staying in shape then.
hopefully, yeah, I probably could stay in better shape, but you know,
Well, I hope you have time for biking when you assume your duties as a priest.
yeah, you got to make time for, some leisure in your life.
Right. Absolutely. So you grew up in Tulsa, and we have a lot of we're in the Bible Belt, so we get asked a lot about, have we been saved? And
Hmm.
people are maybe friendly enough about uh, towards Catholics, but at the same time, they're curious and maybe even skeptical about Catholicism. So if somebody asks asks you, or somebody why are you Catholic, and they're not Catholic, what do you think is the best answer, the best reason for saying why you're Catholic?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a best answer. I think you just have to tell people why you're Catholic and what it's different for everybody. But I think one of the things that's important is just the fact that Jesus Christ founded this church. He put Peter in charge of the church, and then he died and rose from the dead. And so that's kind of why I'm Catholic, because Jesus Christ founded a church, and then he died and rose from the dead, and then he gave us the apostles to continue on this church, and it's still going. So I think for me, that's kind of why I want to be Catholic. And I mean, also, once you realize that this is the church that Jesus Christ founded, you find all the little treasures that keep you there. Most importantly, the sacraments, the Eucharist, getting to receive Him. So I think there's not really a one answer that's the best, but just being honest with people and not afraid, like, of why we're Catholic.
Well, just saying that this
Yeah.
is the church that Jesus founded, this is what he
Mhm.
had in mind, and this is what he
Yeah.
put in place over 2,000 years ago. They may not understand that or agree with it, but
Yeah.
I think it's great that a Catholic, tells them that.
Yeah. And it's not perfect. I mean, it is perfect. We're not perfect, but it's still standing 2,000 years later because of the Holy Spirit. So,
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, what other organization on the face of the earth has lasted over 2,000 years?
hmm
So, well, it's a great gift, Deacon. I'm so tempted to call you Father already, but anyway,
I can wait a
so
few
I'll be
days.
patient a bit longer. So thank you, Deacon Jon, for being with us. We're so
Thanks for
glad to
having me.
have you in the diocese. We're kind of sorry that you're going to run off to Rome and get some more
Uh, I know.
studies, but
I keep telling people I'm coming back and I'm going to stay here forever because I love America and I love Oklahoma too much. God
great. Well, thanks so much for being with us, and God bless you in your ministry.
bless you too, Deacon Tim.
Thank you.